I got to know Swami from the satsangs that I went with my parents. They were the ones who took me there. Being a teenager, I loved singing, and I feel that that's where Swami knew, of course, and he, molded me, and he encouraged me, everyone, that I must sing. And I love that part of it also. It's all Swami's grace that I came to Jamaica also, as you mentioned already, that I met my husband there in Jamaica, about maybe a year after. And before that, I even had been to mandirs knowing Sridi Sai Baba, not knowing that I'm going to know the avatar itself who was living at that time. I've never seen Swami physically. I was upset with Swami that I didn't get to see him before he passed away. But now I've realized that he's always with me, always been with me. And it's not the form. He always says, don't get attached to me, not my form. Continue learning my teachings and follow that. That's all I want. And sign off.
All right. So now it's your turn, Brother Govin.
Sairam, everyone. Brother Gautam, you already gave out my secret of how I met Sai. But I will share the better part of it. And while I am doing that, I saw this pretty girl that used to live on the same street as mine, but I never got a chance to meet her. And every time that I wanted to meet her, in those days, the parents were very strict that you could not talk to anyone, you cannot talk to a girl would not talk to a boy. I mean, I'm talking about 40 years back. It's not like social media today that you have WhatsApp, you can talk. We did not even have a cell phone at the time. And if you'd use house phones, people would find out, parents would find out, would ask you, who are you talking to? So my best way out was finding her through Sign. And Sign invited me and said, मेरे दर पे आ, मैं तेरे को future बीवी दिखाऊंगा. So I thoughts came first, and I'm like, why would I want to go to a satsang? But then I realized, well, Meena was going to satsang, so I wanted to go and see her at the satsang. And being young and humble, I decided, okay, I will go to the satsang. So it was a way of Sai calling me and saying, here, come to my door, and I want you to meet someone. And that's how I met Sai while I met her. Yeah.
So, very interesting. Well, in the Upanishads, I can't remember which one it is, but there's the Upanishad Vahini, and they were asking who loves, when a husband loves a wife and a wife loves a husband, who is loving whom? And the answer in the Upanishad says is Atma loving Atma, and the Atma which is within each one of us is Swami. So it's Swami loving Swami. You have to understand that. So
But
the next question,
quite surprising before you go to the next question is I went to Jamaica in 1974 at 12 years old. And Meena came to Jamaica in 1981 at 12 years old.
Oh, okay.
So it was just like a way of saying, here, I'm going to make these two souls meet.
Yeah, there's no coincidence. In fact, they said a coincidence is when God does something anonymously. That's what the coincidence is. So, can you share, each of you, two of your most memorable experiences with Swami? I know you said you haven't met Swami physically, but you would have experiences. All of us have had personal experiences. And so, can you share two of your most memorable experiences with Swami?
Sairam. Yes, there are lots of them, as I have not really seen him physically. So I have him within me, in my heart, in my life, throughout my journey of life, from the time I got to know him till now. And in that period, I would share my experiences with Swami with my children. When I had my children, it was the same thing I had to teach them to follow discipline. And Swami I had studied in the Balvikas. You have to have discipline, the human values, most importantly. And I had put them in Balika's classes also. At that time, Sister Saju was the educator, SSC educator. And I used to go with them to see what they are learning. Always mothers interested what the children are learning. And for me, I think Swami wanted me to follow that path to be where I am today. So he has been guiding me always, not knowing it's his thing. He knows what I have to do after that. And the discipline is what my parents gave me, and that's what I gave my children. And Swami's teachings instigated it more, emphasizing more on the discipline. Then they went to college, school, college. Throughout their journey of education, it's a discipline from Swami that I felt has been my experience with Swami. And with my parents, next I would share that with my parents. My parents, as I said, have always been religious, and they are also Sai devotees, ardent Sai devotees. They could not come on Zoom. They are not really familiar with the Zoom take. I did send them this morning. I wanted to talk to them, but I couldn't speak because of the WhatsApp. They would have really wanted to join in. They have always taught, my mother especially. My father is all about love. And that right there, Swami's teachings, love all serve all. So on top of it all, that's the most thing that I have learned from Swami. Prioritize love, no matter what. So the love that I've gotten from my parents, and in years of experience after getting married, it doesn't happen in a day with your in-laws that you love them right away. It takes time. So, but putting love as the top priority has guided me. Swami has guided me in that way, to love them as your own parents. And seeing that helped. Swami's experience has been there with me throughout. There are so many other experiences, but these are the two I could think of right now.
Thank you, Brother Govin.
Going back to, getting married in 1986, life was always the best until we got a hurricane in 1988 and Jamaica was devastated. Completely shut down for approximately 6 months. So we had no water, we had no electricity, we had no source of income. And just starting a business new after being married, I was just getting on my feet to say, okay, life is going to get going. You don't realize, there is something that's going to hold you back one day. And then you have to think, which made me think there is a source above, there is a source supreme. That is when I went back and I recalled myself as visiting Sai Satsangs. It brought me back to the life that I was forgetting while working. I thought I was whole and soul. I was going about doing business. I was doing everything like nothing would stop me. And those 6 months taught me that you are not the whole and soul. You are a human. You work accordingly to the laws of Sai. The second one was in 1991, there was a couple that walked into our store, and the last name was Barnowski. They were from Czechoslovakia originally, and they were staying in New York. They were living in New York. Out of that many jewelry stores that were on the complex, the couple walked into our store, and doing the shopping, before leaving, he says, I would like for you and your wife to have dinner with us. And I don't know, none of us know this couple from anywhere at all. And I would be wondering, I'm thinking to myself, why would he be inviting us to dinner? Well, we decided, okay, so they were so pleasant, we went to have dinner with them. And at the dinner table, he mentioned his story with Sai. And he says, while he was working in his attic, he saw a magazine with the Sai's picture on it. And he put it away, not regarding anything, and saying, okay, you know what? It's just another article. A week later, he's doing some other work and he sees the magazine again. And he says, I'm not understanding why this magazine keeps popping up in front of me. So Mr. Barnowski said he had to decide to go to India to go and meet Sai Baba, to see who Sai Baba really is. So through that, when he went there, he said he learned that the aroma around a person's, the aura around a person's body is how you register each other. So he said, when I walked into your shop, I felt like I have two people that I need to be in touch with.
Because he's a hypnotist. He's an hypnotist.
He was an hypnotist.
So he could tell, he could see the auras.
So he said when he went there to sign, and this was an experience that he gave me, he said out of the amount of people that were there, and he was way at the back of the line, someone came to him and said, Sai would like to meet with you in a room. And he says, why me? He says, no, he would like to meet with you. And after that trip, he went to India every year to meet with Sai. I had been in touch with him for almost 9 years after that, until he passed. And his wife also passed. But that's to show you how closeness you come into having Sai walk into your jewelry store instead of Mr. Barnowski.
I just wanted to add to that, the aura that he saw around Sai, huge white aura. And that itself says that he is truly God.
He said he had never seen anything like that before.
Yes, it's written it's written by a Russian devotee, Baranovsky, I think was his name. He also, he saw the aura of Sai, silver, gold, extended miles and miles and miles, you know.
Yes.
And coming back to what you said, Brother Govin, about 1988 with the hurricane, you know, Swami says, love my uncertainty. You know, we all think that we are in control. Look what's happened now with COVID, for instance. It's changed almost everything in everybody's life, you know. Nothing could change. A hurricane will come, it wouldn't change so much. You know, an earthquake will come, you recover after maybe a few months. But, you know, COVID has really wiped everything out in the sense that it made us realize that life is, number one, uncertain. Number two, that we are also uncertain how long we're going to live in this body. And three, that the only thing we can hold on to really is Swami's feet, you know, these times. If we weren't, my wife always says, if we weren't Sai devotees, you know, or followers of Swami, it will be so much more difficult to go through this period of COVID. And, you know, she's quite right. And his first bhajan, Manasa Bhajore, you know, hold on to these lotus feet, you know. So thanks again. So the third question is, Sister Meena, what does Sai Baba mean to you?
Well, there's lots to say on that, and it'll never end. Swami means everything to me, everything. Mother and father, he has always been there for me. He has loved me tremendously. It's Sai around my husband, my children, my parents, my in-laws, and the list goes on. My cousins, my nieces, and my nephew, all that love that I get from all of them is all Sai's love that I'm receiving. He's truly my mother. And I would say as a guided me in the path of life where ups and downs occur. With the journey with my husband and children, you know, things happen with children, and that's where he has guided me, made me strong to know that he's always there for me no matter what. There's one thing that when we spoke about something in study circle, and Sister Saju said that Swami says, rely on me, get attached to me and not anything else. And that really helps. And I am attached to Swami. Right now, when you played in the beginning the song, I was in tears. I said, Swami, you're here with me. I love you. He's been my guide. He's my guru. He's been my God. Everything that I am is because of him. From the day I was born till today, I met my husband because of him. I came here because he had a reason for me to meet my husband and to be in the organization, serve in the organization. And I'm truly, truly humbled. He's everything to me and will always will be.
Sarah and Brother Govin. Just to mention one thing, this they're not being interviewed from Jamaica. Because of COVID, they weren't able to visit their children who live in the USA. And when I spoke to Brother Govin some time ago about doing the interview, he said, we're leaving for Virginia in the USA and to visit with my kids. I'll be much more relaxed when I go there to answer your question. So right now, this is coming from Virginia, USA. So, Brother Govin, what does Sai mean to you?
Sairam, Sai actually is the mother and father of all doings, a Holy Father. It means the world to me. Sai's blessings are always on us, and you know that I lost both my parents this year. It every time that it brings up memories of them being around me and so on. I know they lived a very good life. It's something that has been keeping me protected, keeping me guided all the time. He tells me that they're in a safer place, much better place. But I do have word for anybody who is on the screen today that your parents are your whole and soul. And Sai is the person that guides you through. God that keeps you in one as Sai. Anyone that has a parent, they should always adore them, because not having one, it doesn't feel good. And that's what Sai is to me, a parent. Today I feel him as a parent. So,
So, and that's quite true, Swami is, he is the father, he's our father, and he's not just our father in this lifetime, but he's been our father in many, many lifetimes before. So he's the father that is our eternal father, and thank you for sharing that. So the other question is, Sister Meena, how has practicing the teaching of Sai Baba impacted and transformed your life?
Sairam, very much. I am what I am because of Swami. And I'm so grateful for his teachings. I have, above all, I have followed love all, serve all. That's the most thing that says it all to me. He's given me self-confidence. I'm still learning. Still learning, will always be learning. Lots of patience when it comes to facing the challenges of life. Life is a challenge, meet it. Very grateful to Swami for all that I am today is because of Swami. For all he has given me, I can never say enough how much grateful I am. Each moment, if I ever forget Swami, any day, I think that will be the last day of my life. That's the only way I think I keep going, no matter where I go. Even COVID time when we had to travel, the first time we are traveling after 2 years, because of COVID, it was, we were very anxious. I was very anxious. I didn't know what to expect. But I start my journey with his name. And I know that he's always with me. And everything just goes smoothly. Even the weather. I was telling you, the weather is supposed to be cooler in Virginia now. It's October. But Sai takes care of everything for me. I said, Sai, you know what I like, what's comfortable to me. So My children are saying, Mom, it's cold, it's so warm. I said, I'm not going to say anything to them, but I know it's Sai doing everything for me. So his teachings have really impacted, transformed me, and taught me who am I and what's the purpose of my life, and helped me to broaden my horizons. Learn every day, be a child every day. You will learn every day. That's the only way. All his teaching, service to man, service to God, is nothing like what you feel when you are serving. When I was in my teens going to Seva with my other Sai family, I would have tears looking at the mentally challenged and handicapped children or people. I just could not take it. But that was a way for him to show me that you have to face it. You have to go out there and do it. That's the only way. He taught me the hard way, but today I'm grateful to him for that. And learning skills, I'm still want to learn, still learning from you all and my Sai family in Jamaica. They've taught me a lot. They've supported me, and I'm so grateful to all my Sai family and get to meet my West Indies Sai family also. Life is a game played, as Baba has always said, and I try to follow that and practice that. Sai Ram.
And Brother Govin, how
Sairam.
has Swami's teachings impacted on you and transformed your life?
See, I'm going to disclose something, and I know my children are on the Zoom meet as well. So they're going to learn something about me that they never knew before. Um, when you're young and you're foolish or you act foolish, um, you go around drinking, smoking, having a lifestyle of a different zone. You think you are God, or you act as if you're God. Everything is there for you. It's a never-ending story to that. Well, when I met Sai, I was in my teens, just getting out of my teens, in and it changed my life because I used to smoke a lot. And there was a day that a doctor called me. He actually visiting my house, visiting my dad, and he said to me, "I need for you to come to the hospital tomorrow." I said, "Why would you want me to do that?" And he says, "I think you have something in your lungs that you need to get checked out." And I was like, "I'm perfectly okay. There's nothing wrong with me. Why would you want me to come to the hospital?" Well, I went there the next day. He paid for my x-rays actually, which I am today feeling it was sign that was saying, "Come to my office. I'm going to do an x-ray for you and you're going to get yourself checked up." When the x-ray was done, he put them on the screen and he said, this is what your lungs are supposed to look like, but this is what they look like now. So before you leave this room, you make the decision. Do you want to live longer or do you want to live for a few years and go? And I was like, I could not believe what was going on around me. I was maybe 19, 20 thereabouts. And he said, the choice will always be yours. But the minute you leave this room, the choice you will make a difference in your life. And today I can say, Sai was there with me, that I made that choice. I decided to give up everything. I stopped smoking. I stopped drinking, went into a healthy lifestyle, eating healthy, going to the gym, exercising, doing all that. So completely changed my lifestyle, and which I'm happy that my children have also followed. My wife has followed, and we all do the same. So today has made me a lot more humble person of science teaching. It has impacted to help the less fortunate people, to feed the less fortunate people, and especially children, because they reflect the attitudes in our lives as adults. So whatever you put to them, that's what motivates them, and they grow to be the same. So I will forever respect Sai for that. Sairam.
So, yeah, Brother Govin, I think so your children will be quite surprised. Yeah, sometimes I've learned the lesson. I've learned the lessons with children that don't tell them too much about your past life when they're growing up. Because I also had a past life, and but it took me a longer time to change my life than you, because I had to be, you know, age 30, maybe, maybe let's say age 27, age 28, before I started to make some changes in my life. And, I didn't get to SI until maybe I was age 35, so it took me a longer time. But I think all SI devotees will have a pre-SI and a post-SI, a pre-SI life and a post-SI life,
Yeah, but brother Gautam, if it wasn't for that doctor visiting my dad on that day, on that
Yeah.
night, and heard me coughing, I would not have, known. So I know it was just Dr. Murli was his name, and I know it wasn't just Dr. Murli visiting; it was Sai visiting. That was saying, "I want
Yes.
to make a
Yeah.
change in this person's life."
I've had similar experiences, and Sai takes so many different forms to steer us onto that onto that path. He said, we are so fortunate to know the avatar, and we think that we came to him, but the truth is that he came to us, and we've been praying to come to him, for so many lifetimes, and in this lifetime he chose to come to us, and answer our prayers of many, many lifetimes. And, so we always say, how did you meet Sai? But he's been looking for you also a long, long time
Mhm.
until he finds you. So the last question is, what advice would you give to the general public to create a better society, a more value-based society, Sister Meena?
For me, it's self realization. This is what I have understood, that once you know the truth, who you are, and why you are here, then only you will understand others and his creation. That's my journey of life. I think I am learning to understand the truth, that I am here on a purpose. And as Swami has said, you're here not to smoke, I mean, not to, sorry,
She's
drink
smoking now. See?
and, drink and eat and sleep, but you are here to do your duty. We are here to serve. The body's been given to serve. You only understand that is when you know the truth, when you realize the truth. So self-realization is, I would say, the key to knowing what God has created for us, to acknowledge everyone, everything, His creation, and be in His glory. Be always there. I mean, in my study circles, we have learned a lot from Sister Saju and my other family, Sai family in Montego Bay, that there should be moments like wow moments in your life every day. So when I tried and followed that, I realized that the creation is beautiful. Everyone is beautiful. And we tend to look at the bright side of everything, good side of everyone. I'd never see the bad side of anyone anymore. So Sai has created that for me and he has taught me all this. Self-realization, I would say. And that's why we are in the organization, to realize our divinity, then only we can help others realize theirs. So,
So, Brother Govind, what
Sairam.
advice would you give to the general public to create a better society, a more value-based society?
It is to motivate the young
youth.
youth today. As we do that, I know there's a lot of social media that's keeping our world going in the wrong direction. But via religion and through science, I am sure we can make a lot of impact on the youth today who are going to be our future generation. Meena and I were very happy that we were able to go to Toronto for such a organization where we were able to meet with young teenagers who were taken off the streets in Toronto. And we had to go into a warehouse. These teenagers were kept in the warehouse, and for a 6-week program, if they fixed computers, they were given a certificate and they were given a job after the 6 weeks. But they had to prove themselves. And if similar things like that can be done for the young generation today, and through religion, of course, can make a big impact in the society. Thank you.